If you're coming to Amsterdam in 2026 expecting a free-for-all, update your expectations. Today's cannabis scene is a massive, strictly regulated market. Many visitors still arrive with an image in their head from decades ago, a totally relaxed, anything-goes culture. But right now, there are over 90 licensed coffee shops operating across the city, and the volume of choices is overwhelming. If you step off the train and walk straight into the first brightly lit shop you see in the main tourist corridors, you will overpay. You will get hit with the tourist tax. That is a 20 to 30% markup applied to average quality flower, simply to cover the shop's expensive real estate in a high-traffic area. The way to bypass that markup is by using live data registries, like DamLive, to track actual stock and check prices before you even step foot inside. But before an index is useful to you, you have to decide exactly what kind of consumer you are and what you want to spend. Navigating this market requires moving past the goal of finding any coffee shop and using data to target the right coffee shop for your specific trip. Let's cover the legal baseline first. The primary non-negotiable rule is that you must be 18 or older to buy adult-use cannabis. Physical proof is mandatory. Regardless of how old you look, you have to show a valid passport or an EU ID card to get through the door. While cannabis operates under a decriminalization framework rather than full legalization, these licensed premises are strictly regulated to sell under specific agreements. Part of that agreement is a hard cap on sales. As a tourist, you are legally limited to buying a maximum of 5 grams per day. The good news for international visitors is that the rumored weed pass, which restricts tourist access in other parts of the Netherlands, does not apply in Amsterdam. If you show up without your physical ID or try to purchase over the daily limit, you will be denied entry. Those rules apply to everyone, no matter what your budget is. Once you are inside, you have to navigate local etiquette. For European tourists, the most surprising indoor rule is the absolute ban on smoking tobacco. If you roll a traditional European joint mixed with tobacco inside a coffee shop, the staff will ask you to leave. You have 2 approved options. You can smoke pure cannabis, or you can use the tobacco-free herbal mixes that most shops provide on the tables. That herbal mix is free, but it alters the burn rate and changes the flavor profile of the flower you just paid for. If you are used to North American dispensaries, which often operate like clinical pharmacies where you buy and leave, this exact setup can feel very different. Dutch coffee shops are built as social spaces. They are designed as cafes where you are meant to grab a seat, order a drink, and relax. Adapting to the local smoking rules is the mandatory entry fee for participating in that authentic cafe culture, instead of just making a quick transaction. This comparison table shows the massive price gap in the modern market, breaking down what you get across the budget, standard, and premium tiers. The entry-level baseline is the budget tier, locally known as gruis, which runs between 6 and 8 euros per gram. The standard tier gives you traditional Dutch strains like White Widow and Amnesia Haze. These sit around 12 to 16 euros a gram, or 40 to 55 euros for an eighth. Then you have the premium tier. Imported exotic Cali strains cost between 25 and 35 euros per gram, pushing an eighth up to 120 euros. Paying those prices grants you access to sought-after modern genetics, like RS11, along with incredibly high bag appeal. The standard tier, by comparison, is highly cost-effective and potent, but it lacks those complex, modern terpene profiles. If you are a casual consumer just looking for some evening relaxation, paying 35 euros a gram hits a wall of diminishing returns very fast. That top Cali tier is a financial drain for the average visitor, but it remains a necessary, calculated expense for educated buyers hunting for specific genetics. This chart maps out exactly where you should go in the city, matching your specific budget to the right local strategy. If you are a first-time tourist, your strategy is simple. Avoid the central traps and look for welcoming shops with patient staff, like Boerenjongens, Siberi, or Paradoxed. Beginners should stick strictly to the 12 to 16 euro standard tier. There is no reason to experiment with expensive, high-potency imports on your first trip. If you are a budget-conscious optimizer, you are trading convenience for maximum value, looking specifically for quality flower under 10 euros. To pull that off, you need to use live indexes to track the neighborhood shops outside the city center, where rents are lower and deals are actually available. For both beginners and budget optimizers, putting geographic distance between yourself and the main tourist squares directly correlates to lower prices and a better experience. Then we have the connoisseur. You are an educated buyer hunting for specific pink guava crosses, targeting top-tier shops like Family First, Greenhouse, or Barney's. Your unique risk is paying €35 a gram for older stock of imported exotics that has been sitting on the shelf. That is why serious buyers monitor live menu platforms for fresh drops before traveling across the city to make a purchase. Using an outdated physical guidebook or simply walking toward the brightest neon sign in the window puts you at an immediate disadvantage. Treat your coffee shop visits like a planned investment. Use the live data, respect the local rules, and know exactly what tier you fall into. That is how you avoid the tourist tax in 2026.